Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. So we're gonna do that thing that we did Sunday. The Sun Splendor. Solis, what is it? Splendor Solis. At the cut again. I love how often this card pops up. Even though I was literally just thinking how I feel like I've seen the same five cards in this 70, I'm sure some odd deck that I literally just got. But it's fine. It's not like I don't read super frequently. So let's see. We're gonna do the who, the where, the what, the how, and the why. Again, there are no wins here. Hey K2, how you doing? How are you doing tonight? Ooh, she's new. Spiritus Rector. Benevolent Guide. Okay. With, of course, Splendor Solace still at the bottom of the deck. You're doing great for some closure tonight. Oh, snap. Did you get closure tonight? Are we in a season of closures? It's that time of the year again. Okay, I just want to shuffle this. We'll get the what first. Or what is this? The how. This is the how. This is the how. Or is this the hold on, wait. The who, where, what, how, and why. Those are the why. This is the how. We'll do the how first. Oh. Well, I'm glad you had that tonight. Especially if you're doing great. This autumnus card. Ooh. Conjunctio? Conjunction. That's interesting. That makes me think of that Ace of Swords. That also makes me think of that thing I was saying the other day with the yin yang. But anyway, I keep forgetting this is how. Let's get one of these. Let's see what comes out today. For today, October the 5th of 2022. Okay. So it's another card I've been seeing. You were thinking about the yin and yang today. Oh, snap. Well, yin and yang didn't come out. It didn't come out, but Coverum Terra and Neptunus. Neptune is a card I've seen as I've shuffled the deck, but it hasn't come out yet. It's the element of water. I think it's the Three of Voices in the whatever the deck, because I know I've seen Russ use it before. I think a few people have used it. But the Three of Voices has this thing in it, I think. And then we get that gold. The bottom of the deck is number 52. That's number 9. 52 is, again, Coverum Terra. Coerum. I think the V's are sounding W's. Coerum Terra. Earth's Heart. Earth's Heart. Interesting. So the how is Neptune. Oh, that gives us a place to start. Neptune is currently in Pisces. I'm pretty sure retrograde because every planet is retrograde. But I wonder where. It should be about 24 probably because I think it's been in the mid 20s for a hot second. 23:30. 23 degrees. Oh, Juno is in Pisces. Any aspects? Neptune, are you making any aspects? Are you making any aspects? Wow. Oh, wait. I want to see all the. No. Major aspects. Neptune is trining. That's not a trine. That's not Neptune. That's Pluto. I'm looking at Pluto. Okay, here we go. So Neptune is sextiling Uranus in Taurus. It's also sextiling Pluto in Capricorn. It's opposing Mercury in Virgo. And it is in a loose conjunction with Jupiter as it's retrograding back into Pisces. That got to be like at least several degrees. That's a very loose conjunction. Neptune's also trining the moon in Cancer right now. Okay. So we got some Uranus Pluto in favorable aspects to Uranus, Pluto, and the moon conjuncting Jupiter, opposing Mercury. So this is not going to be one of those straightforward things. Smoke decor. Oh, smoke detector. After I was an RA, like that sound didn't used to bother me. Smoke detectors beeping because I can tune out a lot of stuff or just like not pay attention to it. But after I was an RA and like we had to change smoke detector batteries, now I can't help but hear them, and they kind of bother me. Well, not extremely, but it's just like because it was my job to like replace the batteries and to make sure that they were up and stuff like that. So we're gonna get into the who first. Oh snap! Okay, we're gonna get into the who first. There is also a little bit of a. The fool is air, fire is judgment. What's water? The hanged man. There's a little bit of hanged man energy here. I mean, yeah, Neptune rules Pisces. The hangman is. Anyway, is it Pisces? Traditionally, it's water. So, and the glyph of water and the water drop is here. It's interesting. So, because Mercury is opposing Neptune right now, which is, I feel like, one of the, especially for like traditional astrology, is probably one of the like most makes sense aspects. Mercury being foggy, cloudy, dreamy, illustrious, uh, nebulous, and like illusions and stuff like that. And Mercury like being just like thoughts, communication, a little bit more clear, you know what I mean? And so, like, since they're in opposition, it almost like the aspect would almost read like it's hard to like it's already difficult enough, but now with Mercury opposing it, it's even more difficult. But from the point and position of Neptune or Mercury, the other is full in a non heliocentric sense, of course. Right? Like when anything opposes, like when the moon opposes the sun, it's a full moon. The sun is an illuminator, so we get to see like all of the moon. But like, so basically, my point is the glyph of water is here, and it's like if you didn't know that this glyph of water was the glyph for water, well, there's a water drop. So it's like if you didn't know, let's sort of like make it clear. But I guess they are separated by these bands of light. So this way they're separated because you can't, like, there's no way to get, you would have to cross this bridge of light to sort of get that or go through these hands, right? And Hamfereld, our Hamfereld, the Bifrost Bridge did come out in the ruins or something. Probably yes. I would. I know I've been like trying to do better. I have been doing better actually. But like if I get off in time to like go to Starbucks, then I'm like it's fine. I can have a Starbucks. If I go to a fast food place, I'm probably will get a drink. That's not water. But besides that, I've been drinking water. The Who is the Virgin? And it's number 8. Neptunus is 9. This is perfect. I mean, I love this because there are these like hazy things like that we can assume that these are trees on a night sky, right? But they might not necessarily be. We also see like the gold again. Oh, oof. Well, I feel like I feel like this is quite suggestive imagery. Um, okay. While the womb is still up here. So I need to keep these. And the one is the card that we had last time. But this will help me keep these separate so that next time I do this, I don't have to sort them all out again. We'll go for the where next. So where is the? Did I say the virgin? It's the maiden. I think I did say the virgin, but it's the maiden. The where came out immediately. Oh snap! The threshold, number 45, which is another 9. I feel like the threshold, like the maiden's threshold, girl, we're not going there. What was it? I think that was in the last video I did, the self read. Oh, what alchemy card was that? In Creatum, the uncreated. Pulsing on the other side of form, waiting to be birthed or born. So, what is coming for the maiden, coming from the maiden? Oh, oh, darn it. The mirror. Oh, look, there's the moon. There's a full moon. That is number 68. 68 is what, 15? No, 68 is 14. Yeah, 68 is 14. Get these out of my pocket. Actually, I'll leave them here because I don't want to lose them. So Neptunus, the maiden, the threshold, and the mirror. Who is the maiden? Where is the threshold? What is the mirror? How is Neptune? Well, if Neptune is the how, we basically don't know. Hey Sandra, how you doing tonight? How are you? See, okay. I feel like the reason why the moon is here in the mirror is because Neptune is only partially revealing something here. It's like if Neptune had a sun in its hands and it did that. So, like a little bit of the light would escape. I guess, like that. A little bit of, we're talking about the maiden. Oof. Anyway, like it does that, and a little bit of the light like escapes, right? And that's basically the moon. The moon only reflects so much sunlight. It only reflects as much sunlight as its surface area will allow. So this will be the surface area. What is the surface area of the moon? Oh, look, the moon at the cut with the Daughter of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. I'm doing pretty well, actually. I went into work basically on time today. Honestly, on time today. And I left on time today. But then, I had an appointment. And so I'm like, I feel like I was basically at work all day. I need rest. But I'm good. I'll be able to get some rest soon. The moon and the high priestess at the cut now. Uno momento, por favor. Okay, never mind. I just got to make sure that I see a certain text when it comes in. So the surface area of the moon, 3, 2. Oh, this is so many. I'm not taking all these. Sorry, try again. Oh, snap. So, okay. I'll probably forget, but it's fine. All right. Surface area of the moon in the mirror. Like one card would be perf. Would be perf. This happened. I don't know if I'm taking this card. I mean, it's the Ten of Cups. And there is a moon like shape here. We'll take it. And the volume of the sun, or the surface area of the sun, slash, like, well, actually, no. This is the one card. It's the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is the highest you can get in the minor arcana, like in the pips, right? Before you get into the court cards. And it's cups. It's the element of water. Again, the element of water. 10 out of 10. The interesting thing with this card in particular is, though, it's like, are we the cups at the top or the cups at the bottom? Because at the bottom, all of the colors mix. So each one of these cups gets a sampling of all of these. These are very much the empress that waits at source or whatever. Because when you wait there, all of the water comes in. These are like pick a path. The red path, the green path, the yellow. Did I say red, green, yellow? Red, orange, green, red. I did it again. No, wait. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Okay, I know my colors. Mercury's still in its post shadow retrograde. Don't come for me. But it's like if you pick a path, then you learn all of red, and then you do all of yellow, and then all of green, and then all of blue. And if there's something that you need from each color, that's how long it's going to take you to sort of like get everything. But if you can sit in one of these cups, you can get like everything you need and not necessarily have to go anywhere. But there's a greater breadth of space that you have to hold in a way. So basically, the moon is actually capable of reflecting a lot of the sun back. And so the moon isn't the limitation here. It's literally the maiden. We are the maiden because it's the who, right? The who is the maiden. It's the one who hasn't yet experienced something, the one who is not yet touched by whatever. And the maiden is at the threshold. Are you gonna jump in the water? Is this gonna be like a fool type of situation? Is it gonna be like an Eight of Swords type of situation where you don't move because you think you can't move, but it's like you can? It feels like everything is sort of waiting on us. And then with Neptune is interesting here because it feels like when the maiden is at this precipice, there are a lot of sort of thoughts and expectations and fears and hopes that runs through their mind. So I'm gonna give the animal cards. Oh gosh! Ooh, look, the fish. Oh, these cards are trying to fall on the floor. No, oh, darn it! Everything is just falling on the floor today. It's fine. I'll just be missing a card for like 3 weeks. Oh, the cosmic egg, I feel like, has made an appearance every single time I've used this deck. I'm not complaining. There it is. First card I see that fell on the floor. Cosmic egg is like, I will be seen today. I may not be the card, but I will be a card that is seen. Now that I am seen, you may continue. I'm like, okay, but what about the other like 5 cards that fell? Oh, is this them? Oh, maybe I should just keep them on the floor. Whew. Oh, I think this is all of them. Zebra, otter, hyena, fire ant, stingray. I mentioned them. They don't get shown. They get mentioned. Slippery like the fish, exactly. Yes. Yeah. The ones with like they would either be like 3 or it'd be like 5 colors and you try to like push them all down. Yeah. I kind of miss those, honestly. And then it makes me think of those tri-lighters. Okay. So let's try this shuffle again. I want to pull this face down though. I'm just going to give it a few shuffles. Excuse me, I think I picked all of them up. Anything that isn't in the deck isn't meant to be. Ooh. I've been getting like pretty decent at shuffling this deck. All right, we'll give it 2 more shuffles. cut you right there. I'll do the top and the bottom. Why not? This is the top. The top is on the left. The bottom's on the right. Zebra. This is like the third time I've seen the zebra now. The zebra was like the top of the cards that fell. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to look around the Fool, and then I'm going to look around before and after the page of, not the page of Swords. I'm going to look before and after the Eight of Swords. I feel like I don't necessarily have to, because it's a like, which energy are you in? You know what I mean? Are you going to leap? Like, is the maiden going to leap, or is the maiden going to like not? It's feeling very like, oh, because the heart of Earth's heart is here. That's what. Oh my gosh, that's the maiden at the threshold of Earth's heart, or Earth's heart, or Earth's heart. What? Wow. Okay. Because I was gonna say, like, it feels like it's the molten core of Earth and the solid core of Earth. Feels like that's where the maiden is. Wait, what's purple? What's never purple? I already forgot what I said. It's fine. Last. Ooh, I want to do the same thing. Oh, or not. The whole deck is in reverse. Three of Pentacles came out in reverse. It's an upward pointing triangle now, which is the element of fire. I saw Temperance as I was shuffling. Mother of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Let's go. Oh, the color pins. 3 or 5 colors, never purple. Yeah, it was like what? Black. I feel like it'd be like black, red, green, blue, and yellow, maybe? Like, why yellow? From the bottom of the deck, we're looking for the Eight of Swords and the Fool. I mean, there's a whole spectrum in between, right? Like, what does the Eight of Swords look like in this deck? Oh, it's the cocoon. Okay. Are both of these going to be at, like, the top of the deck? The Wheel of Fortune, the Eight of Swords, the Mother of Wands. The Emperor, the Fool, the Daughter of Wands. The Ten of Wands and the Moon. There's the Tower, not the Moon. The Ten of Wands and the Tower are sort of like outside. We're going to put y'all's here. So no Temperance. The 5 had 2 blues or blacks. Oh, probably like a lighter blue, and then like a more indigo-y. It's interesting. Well, first we get like the daughter and the mother, which the daughter is the maiden. So the Fool being with the Emperor, it's almost literally in this sort of energy, right? The Maiden of Wands, you could say. And then the mother is the mother of wands. Is she a mother? Well, it's literally the mother. So, are there no crones? No, not for this. Are there mothers? Anyway, the Wheel of Fortune into the Mother of Wands. What's interesting is, though, it's almost like because of this, if we leave it up to fate, if we leave it up to chance, it's not, it feels less liable and likely to happen. It feels like something that's not going to just happen. Because the Mother of Wands, it's like because they're still eggs. And I remember I think it was in that cosmic egg. I don't know when it came out. Or it was just the thing. It's like if the snake wraps around the egg too tightly, then it can't hatch. Because it'll be strong enough to break the shell, but it's not strong enough to break through, its own mother. It's not one of those like eating its way out of its mother's body to be birthed. It's not one of those things. And the moon is here in this Wheel of Fortune up top. And it's because, like, with this owl here, it did just remind me, like, the wisdom of waiting because of the owl and the crocodile and the self read. But it's like with this one, it'll never hatch. The chrysalis, like the butterfly, will never emerge from this cocoon, from this chrysalis, because it still has the mind of a caterpillar. The mind of the caterpillar is telling the butterfly that it's going to fall and be impaled on these swords. The mind of the butterfly would know, oh, like I just got to like fly. If I fly, then the swords can't hurt me. But I guess the question here is like, how do you get the mind of a butterfly before you emerge as a butterfly? Well, that's why the solution to this is the fool. Like, this is literally the maiden. Because it's the energy of the maiden, it's like it's something that we don't know. There's an element of inexperience or a lack of maturity here. And it's like even as the maiden's body starts to signal to the maiden that it's ready to not necessarily be a maiden anymore, there are other things that like need to happen in order for the maiden to no longer be a maiden. So it's almost like making it into the cocoon isn't necessarily enough to make the caterpillar a butterfly, because the caterpillar emerges as a butterfly. And so it's almost like there's a passive element that takes you to a certain point, to a certain place. It takes you to the threshold. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It's like we'll be led to water, but we have to, we'll be led to water, but we can't be made to drink. Drinking is our choice. So now I got to look before and after the devil. You drink, you drive, you lose. Just because, drinking, not because whatever, but it's my drinking card, okay? It's not my drinking card, but, anyway. Well, it's what I'm going for, okay? I don't have to overcomplicate it. Wow, it's at the clear opposite end of the deck. Here it is. I'm like, oh my gosh, where is it? If you said, well, the devil isn't the card of drinking, it's the Nine of Cups. Well, the Nine of Cups also came out, so. The Nine of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. It feels like it's the thing that you wish for, but you'll never. It feels like we might think of it as the thing that we want, but that we never think we'll get. but it almost feels like it's like the thing that you want, but that you'll never allow yourself to have. And it's almost like the desire itself causes us to be in the energy of like not having it. And it makes me think of the whole like gratitude thing, right? Like just be grateful for what you do have. And it's not that gratitude doesn't work, but it feels like at the like gratitude will get you to the threshold. But there's still going to come a point in time where you have to take the thing, right? Where you actually have to reach out for it. The Ten of Wands in the Tower is interesting because it can be read as it's like we'll carry so much until there's that straw that breaks the camel's back. It's like the camel's back will be broken in one of two ways. Either it will like literally break, or the camels will say like enough is enough and will drop everything. Meanwhile, over here, the emperor, the one who is decisive, is the hatched snake. Because this is the baby, right? It hatches from the egg, from under the belly of the mother of wands. The maiden is sort of born. And so I think there's also this element of like, because I don't, it reads like we can externalize a pressure and then project that pressure onto ourselves from that externalized source, right? Because at first it was like if the mother chokes the eggs won't be able to hatch when it's time for them to hatch, right? Like you got to get off of it. It's not going to like burrow through your body. I already forgot what else I was going to say. Yeah, that's how it read at first. But now it's almost this like let's say that my brain always goes to work. Like let's say that there's a certain way that we view ourselves and we blame society, right? We're like, well, I don't fit a conventional standard of beauty. So it's society's fault that I have low self-esteem, low self-worth, that I can't value and appreciate myself as I am. And it's like, does a part of that exist? Yeah, for sure. Like that is 100% like accurate and valid. But at the same time, it's almost like it's like usually we will never have the experience, or usually we rarely have the experience of that external pressure being removed. But maybe that's what's going to happen. And so what's going to happen is we're going to almost like lose that mirror. Maybe that's what Neptune is doing. Maybe Neptune is like shining just enough light for the projection to sort of like fade. It's going to shine enough light for the mirror to stop reflecting. And then we'll have to sort of sit with the realization that whatever it is, it comes from within us. And it was like, again, like it could have been motivated by something external. It could have very well have been something external at some point. But it's like now, like without the mirror, without the external force, what's your explanation for the pressure that you feel now? And I think that will either encourage us, or it's like that will be the time when we sort of like have the option to be an emperor and take charge, take responsibility, or to wait for the wheel of fortune to turn. And so I guess that's again with this 10 of cups, that's the thing with the moon. It's like the moon can reflect as much truth as we're ready and willing to see. And so it's almost like if moon energy is like Neptune, where it's like things that are hidden or what's in the dark, or like it's foggy, it's elusive, like you can't really tell what's what because it's so dark. It's like it's because we don't want to see. The brain, the mind is very, very good at twisting and distorting realities for us to not see the things that we don't want to see. And the psyche can find anybody, anything to blame. And like that's the cycle that we would be sort of betting on if we let the wheel of fortune just sort of like take its turn. The animal at the top is the snake, but it's feeling more like because these are like the flowers of life or whatever. I don't know sacred geometry, but it's almost like it keeps sort of turning and turning and turning. I don't know if that's an Ouroboros that necessarily transmutes like the other one does. The animal that was on the bottom of the deck is the lamb. And again, it feels like the lamb aligns more with the energy of the maiden. But with this lamb, it's like each square diamond, each diamond is a solid color. So I think it goes through them sort of like one by one, color by color. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Or, I mean, in this case, it's not even red, orange, yellow, green, blue, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. It's like purple, purple, pinkish, green, green, yellow, 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 red, turquoise, 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 blue, 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 green, 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 light blue, light blue, light blue, light blue, indigo, 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 indigo. Like you can see some of these are like longer. Some of these are really short. Like between the yellow and that, I mean, the blue is pretty short too until you hit that band of green and then the band of purple. Like some of these lessons or areas are, it's going to take more for us to get through. Or it's proven that it is. This, do I have another deck that I can pull? I want to clarify this Three of Pentacles in reverse. The reason why I say this feels like a temperance energy is because the element of fire is here. The element of fire is here, and then we have the mother and the maiden of wands. So maybe I don't need to clarify it. Like the three, maybe the Three of Pentacles in reverse, it's like because the Three of Pentacles is a task so monumentous that it can't be accomplished by an individual person. And so like we have to work together with other people. So it becomes an energy of cooperation, usually with a certain end goal in mind or for a certain reason. With the Three of Pentacles in reverse, and with Neptune being here, it could be like we, because of past feelings, emotions, it's water, because of emotions and feelings, something feels like a bigger deal or something feels more difficult than it actually is. Because it feels like if we can escape the protection or if we can escape the need for the protection of the mother's bosom, if we can step into what is within us, it feels like it's like we'll find out that it's actually not that difficult. It's not as difficult as we would have perceived it to be. It's almost like the worst part is working up the courage to cross the threshold. And of course, I'm curious what lies beyond the threshold. What lies beyond the threshold is a what, right? So I should go for another item? Question mark? Is that how I'm doing this? I think these are my items, right? Because those are, yeah. So what lies beyond the threshold? Oof. Immediately, the vow flips over. It's interesting that the vow flips over. I mean, the thing that's interesting about this, it's almost like all of these moons are new. Like these are all new moons. Like there's no angle at which we can almost like catch a reflection. And again, it makes me think of that like, well, what happens when the mirror is no longer there? When the mirror is dirty, dull, broken, shattered. When the thing that is external is no longer a part of the equation, then what happens? But it feels like this bird pulls in the light from all of these. And that's what makes these moons new. Well, if the bird pulls in the light from those moons, that's metaphorically us finding all that is already within us. And where does the fulfillment of this vow take us? Or like, where is this sort of promised energy? I guess it's not going to flip over as quick as the vow did. Come on. I'm going to need you to drop and not like fall on the table. I mean, fall on the floor, please. Please don't fall on the floor because there's probably cousins. You got cousins that might be down there. Oh, look, the heart. Anyway. The card, it's the village in reverse. Well, it's kind of on its side. Oh, this Neptune thing is weird. Because here in the Maiden, it looks like these are trees on the night sky, right? But in the village, it feels like this is an actual place. Like this is a mountain, and that's the sky. So it's almost like we find out that this is the actual thing and not this. One second. Un momento. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, that's why it's like, okay, all right, Neptune. But that's the thing about the village in a way. Because in the book, it's like, the pilgrim leaves the village, the maiden leaves the village, and she experiences the world. But at the end of her cycle, or there's a point in her journey where she returns to the village and she shares everything that she saw while she was out exploring. So it's like the maiden is at the village line. Like that's this threshold leaving the village. And the colors here are pretty similar. This is very like the garden and the gate in the energy oracle cards energy. It's very the garden and the gate. And so the lamb is the one that makes peace, I guess, with the realization. I feel like making peace with the realization is a very choice way to put it because there are many, many, many things that the lamb is going to experience when it takes in that realization and when it allows a certain truth to come to the forefront. And it changes everything. Some things are going to take longer, or some things are going to be more impactful, or maybe some things, it's like maybe some of these truths are like not as inconvenient to accept, or it's like they don't matter as much. It's like, oh, like nectarines and tangerines are different. Okay, now I know the difference. You know what I mean? And maybe some of these other ones are more, it's like we care more because of however we're aligned, like because of whoever we are as individuals. But this snake, it feels like the snake just finds someone or something else to blame, and it continues to perpetuate that cycle. Even when the snake is, like, even when it's proven to the snake that it is no one else, for the snake, there will always be someone else. And it's interesting that snakes, like, they shed their skin, and because of that, they can be associated with like a rebirth or rejuvenation or healing. But it's like the snake sheds its skin just to go back into the same skin. It's like it graduates from one thing just to almost do the same, but in a way that I guess feels different enough. I don't know. But again, it's like it's because the butterfly still has the mind of the caterpillar that it doesn't emerge from the chrysalis because of the fear that it will fall. So I feel like I've done this to death. Not to death. I've done this to rebirth. I'm kidding. And there is a certain noviceness here too. And maybe that's the thing about the maiden. Maybe the maiden doesn't want to be a maiden again. Or maybe it's like, maybe the crone doesn't want to be a maiden again because of everything the crone prides herself on, her wisdom, her years of experience, her age, her everything. And she's like, why would I give any of that up to be a maiden again? Like, I remember my maiden years and how much I didn't know and how confusing everything was and how overwhelming just like knowing what to do or believing that I had direction was. But it's like, okay, so it's a choice that we all make. We all make choices and decisions. No one of them is necessarily right. No one of them is necessarily wrong. But if our choices and decisions don't get us where we want to go, or if our choices and decisions don't lead us to happiness or progression or movement or getting closer to something, I mean, as long as we're okay with it, then I guess we'll be happy with that, right? I'm looking at this Three of Pentacles again, next to this Ten of Cups. See, this Three of Pentacles feels different than this Lamb. Because it feels like the Lamb goes like color by color by color by color. But in the Three of Pentacles, it does all of them at the same time. Like they're all connected. They're all linked. Like each pentacle is its own color, sure, but it's linked to all of these others. And as that path is established on both sides, and as that communication happens, the colors blend and bleed into each other. And maybe that Three of Pentacles in reverse just speaks to the difficulty in choosing that path, or it speaks to the difficulty in sort of like keeping everything sort of straight in a way. I don't know, but we'll go for our final cards to see if there is some concluding message that wants to come out, or just to see what wants to come out before I go to bed. I feel like it's, I don't know if that's true. I was going to say, I feel like it's been a hot second since I've been excited to like wake up. But it's fine. Oh, snap. I have a wedding this weekend. It's going to be a pretty nice few days. I'm going to get to see one of my best friends, and I'm going to get to see my other best friend that I saw when I went to the other wedding. Because, like, now our mutual friends are starting to, like, oh, goodness. Yeah. So, oh, it's the butterfly. This is the butterfly out of the cocoon. And again, just like that Three of Pentacles, the butterfly sort of, it takes in all those colors at once. It can work with all of them, and that's how it can fly. No! Oh my gosh, again? Really? Really? I feel like every time the energy like sort of shifts, the camera just goes down. Oh, goodness. Why are you so tall now? What is what is happening? You know what? Keep it up, and I'm gonna just use my laptop camera. I'm telling this thing to keep it up as if it isn't my fault. It's like, or you could like, change the setup. I'm like, yeah. I could take accountability and responsibility for this, or I can blame you. An inanimate object for your part in this disaster. It's not a disaster, it's illustrative. And it's a little wonky, but that's fine. I don't feel like messing with it anymore. And we're at the end of the video. Right? Camera takes the shit literally. And then the Daughter of Swords is under that with all of these colors. Like the Daughter of Swords is amongst all of these. And she sees them in a way that's different. And under that is the Three of Wands, the vision in which all of these sort of combine. And then behind that is Judgment with the Father of Swords. The Father of Swords wields that. Oh, behind the Father of Swords is the Three of Pentacles. So there you go. Anyway. Goodness. I like how it flung itself into the darkness. The darkness being the unknown. being the territory of the moon, being all that exists beyond the safety of the village. That's the thing, right? Back in the day, like before electric lights and mass urbanization, question mark, the village was like, you don't leave the village at night or you might not come back. Animals are hungry, other things are out there hungry or looking for mischief. So you tell the children, oh, don't leave the village past midnight or you'll turn into a gremlin. Okay. So what's interesting is our mother of wands comes back with the wheel of fortune at the bottom of the deck. The reason why this wheel of fortune, at least in this context, isn't going to passively push us past the threshold is because all of these threads inside of the wheel, literally at the heart of this wheel of fortune, at the very center, it's the Three of Swords. It can't move while it's bound. This is a mother that grips her eggs out of some kind of pain, fear, whatever. So she sits and waits for a day that will almost never come. I won't say that because behind the wheel of the fortune, behind the wheel of fortune is the star and the Six of Wands. Something is going to happen to get her to realize she can let go. And in that moment of her letting go, she'll like realize something. And then her butterfly mind will come in and override the caterpillar brain. So then she'll just like fly over it. She'll be like, oh, I'm a butterfly. I can fly. I'm not just going to flop out and impale myself on a sword. Like, that's what these wings are for. But with it being the Six of Wands, it's almost like with this Six of Wands being a butterfly, it feels like it's something that she has to do for herself. Something that she has to discover for herself within herself. And then that recognition of self is reflected back to her. It's like then she's celebrated, then she's welcomed back as the hero. Then she makes a triumphant return to the village. And I was going to say something else, but I lost it. I mean, that's basically it. Oh, it's like then the mirror comes back on in some way. It's going to get shut off because there's something, it's like we can't continue to externalize the reason why we're not doing this or why we're not doing that. It's like, again, with the snake, we can if we want because it is our choice. I got 3 cards over here. I'm going to have to shuffle this again. The Nine of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. And I think I shuffled where is it? Oh no, is it here? Yeah, it's here. I thought I shuffled the lamb into this deck, but I didn't. Judgment and the Daughter. Judgment and the Maiden of Pentacles. Judgment was just with a whole bunch of cards. I already forgot. All right, final card now that the deck is complete. Oh, no. Here we go. They didn't flip over. They just tried to stand up. Like, no, back into the... Ooh, okay. Choices and decisions that align us to the place we want to go. And then we meet the place we want to go. And then we're in that place that we want to be, having those experiences that we want to have as the world continues to open, unravel, and unfurl into things beyond our wildest dreamings and imaginings. The Lovers. More than a butterfly. A goose. Not just any goose, a Canadian goose. Bottom of the deck is the Nine of Wands. This card came out last time. And it was something that like, and again, it's almost like it's that increatum, but instead of it being the uncreated thing, it's almost like it's the unrealized expression of the self, or the unbeing, instead of the uncreated, the unbeing. And it's almost like it's this version of us that's waiting for us to become it. It's like it's knocking on the door. Oh, so it's like it's that version of us that's knocking on the door, drawing closer and closer and closer to our reality. And there are some key maybe differences between who we are now and who we are on the other side of that. And it's because of that that the mirror shuts down. Because there's something on the other side that we can't reflect to it. It's almost like a two-way mirror. And so anything that isn't shared between both sides won't be reflected. So it's almost like trying to play one of those spot the differences games, but all of the differences are basically invisible because everything different is lost. It fades out into the mist of Neptune. And so it plays on that we can only meet others as deeply as we meet ourselves type of energy in a way. And so that's part of what this like being and becoming is about. And then it's almost like as we start to make those choices and decisions that align more, as we start to take on more of the qualities that we're going to have in whatever the next phase is, then the picture becomes more and more complete. And as the picture becomes more and more complete, it becomes easier to continue to make those choices and decisions. But again, like Mars has been a thing. Mars came out down here on the feign side of things, on the side that can go with the flow, that can catch that wind and ride it all the way to the next continent or the next galaxy. Because it'll go as far as we can take it. It'll take us as far as we can go. So it does almost bring back that curse in the lower world type of energy, where it's just like there's not a language to communicate this. There's not a, and it's funny because it's like I saw this, it was like an American and a German, and the German girl was like, there were all these German words for things that we don't have words for in English. But it was like, that was literally it. It's like we don't have a single word for this in English, but these aren't new concepts. Like you're using English to describe this, and like we get what you're saying. You just have a more compact version. Like instead of the guy who pulls cards, it's like tarot reader. It's like, oh my gosh, we don't have that word. We just have the guy who pulls cards, the guy who pulls tarot cards and reads them. Like, what? Anyway, I don't know. It's fine. I was expecting something a little more like, oh my gosh, than like, yeah, like this is a word for a specific type of person. And then it was literally like, I forget what one of them was, but they like, it was like instead of it being a single word, it's like a phrase that we literally use all the time. I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. Oh, no, 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 no. No. I almost mixed these up. I got to keep them separate. I almost put the maiden, I almost put a who with the wheres. You're not a where, you're a who. They're a what? You're also a what? Here are the wheres. Okay, I found the wheres. I almost put wheres and who's and what's. Or I almost put who's and what's with the wheres. So the final where. Ooh, that was quick. Gnosis. It's interesting. So when I was separating these out, like in the well-known archetypes, numbers 1 through 30 are aspects of the self or the who's. 31 through 50 are places, settings, the wheres. 51 to 70 are items or things, the what's. And then 71 to 78 are different phases of a transformational journey. And so for those, because I didn't want to have an 8 card pile, I just like, as I was sorting through the deck, I just put it like it was who, where, what, who, where, what, who, where, what. And there's only 8 cards. So 3 of them ended up in the who's, 3 of them ended up in the where's, 2 of them ended up in the what's. And we get gnosis. And I love that gnosis is in the where's because it feels like it makes sense. This is like inside of the cocoon. This is that caterpillar brain shifting into the butterfly mind. And I know that butterfly brain has more alliteration or consonants in it than caterpillar brain and butterfly mind, but I love butterfly mind, so we're going with it. That's literally what's happening. And there is an emphasis on this element of water, or it could be fire. Because we see the diamond, we see the square, right? With all those diamonds around the lamb. But then there's that triangle. It's like, is it fire? Is it water? Is it some mixture of both? Because that can be air, right? The upward triangle. No, never mind. I was looking at it wrong. This is that temperance energy. And again, it's like when we sit in the center of this, all of the colors are present. Now we have a bird flying instead of it being the snake bound to the ground in that Ouroboros. And the snake is literally still out here. Now it's a bird. Judgment was a bunch of birds, the shadows of birds flying up to that dove. The dove and the vow. Wow, I didn't even catch that. And again, it's like the vow, it's like it's pulling in the light from all of these moons and it's like re energizing itself. But in a way, it's re energizing itself. In a way, it's like it's the light was borrowed because that's how mirrors work, they just reflect it back. Thanatos and the thread. Threadatos. Eros, Thanatos, and Theros. Thanatos and Eros. Who is Theros? Okay. Wait. 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 Ooh. Almost. Ooh, it almost went on the floor. The vow. And Thanatos is at the bottom of the deck. The vow comes back out. It's promise. It's promise, but not guaranteed. It's like it's yours if you want it. If you claim it, it's yours. But you gotta claim it. It's like you can have it, but you gotta come and get it because I'm not leaving, or because like I can't take it to you, so you have to come and get it. It's like okay. Like I can compensate you for gas. I can get you a car. I can call you an Uber, a Lyft, whatever. I can call you a personal limo so you can arrive in style, but you got to come here to get it. Agape and the animal. That's all animals know. All my dog knows is unconditional love. Sorry. I'm sorry. I guess we evolved out of that gene, huh? Kidding. Kind of, not really. Oh, wow. Number 10 and number 5. 10 plus 5 is 15. 15 is literally XV. The warrior and the orphan. That's some real oof energy. The best goose. The warrior and the orphan. The comic was at the bottom of the deck when the freaking maiden came out. And I'm like, what is the I didn't pull out the book this time. So I can't read what the comic means. Hold up. I think the comic has context here. The comic sits in the middle. All colors, again, it's in the middle, just like that gnosis. All colors run just like. Oh, snap, look at this. Between the vow and gnosis, with the ring on the outside, but instead of it being this bird, now it's this bird. But it's like this is inside of this. So if you zoom into this part of gnosis, this is what you'll see. If you zoom out of that, you'll see this. But like just like all the colors are sort of like orbiting around in gnosis, all of the colors run to the middle when we sit in the middle. It's like the colors run to wherever we are. But if we're sitting in the red, red is going to predominate it, so we don't see any of the greens, the yellows, the blues, the magnolias is magnolia color, the magentas. All we'll really see is red, or the majority of what we'll see and experience is red because that's where we are. But this feels like because of the birthday hat and the star at the top, it's one of those, oh, it's like a happy cry moment. It's reading as a happy cry moment. Those tears may not be because of happy. But maybe with the warrior and the orphan, like there's something that we thought we had lost because of who we had to be to get where we are in life, because of what we had to do to survive. It's time for us to learn to thrive, not just surviving. What is that? Into the woods? I feel like not just surviving is a line in one of the songs, but I don't. It's oh yeah. It's it takes two. Into the woods because she's like, you've changed. Well, there's like not just surviving. You're blossoming in the woods. I'm gonna read the lyrics. If you could see you're not the man. If you could see you're not the man that started, you're much more open hearted than I ever knew you could be. Like we're again, like that's been this like theme, this thread that's been coming through. It's like we're already butterflies, but we're still thinking like caterpillars because so much of our experience has been lived as a caterpillar. And the agape that came out with the animal, it's like animals just know. Whenever an animal hits a phase, I mean, maybe they have to adjust, I don't know. But for the context, for the sake of context, when an animal hits that milestone, they know. Like when the caterpillar enters the chrysalis, the caterpillar knows it's going to be a butterfly and that it doesn't have to worry about those 8 swords. But because people are people, we don't necessarily like we'll have that knowing within us. But there's so much that we have to sift through and sort through and let go of, sacrifice, relief, give away in order to allow that knowing, like in order to allow ourselves to believe and that knowing enough to take the action. It's like we'll be the caterpillar in the chrysalis, becoming a butterfly, knowing that we're a butterfly, knowing that we can fly, but fearing falling on and impaling ourselves on those 8 swords. And it's the fear that overrides the knowing. And so our personal truth becomes the one of that fear rather than what we know to be true. That's the song. But it's like, I'll still read the lyrics, but it takes two into the woods lyrics. Is this all of them? Ooh, this is a lot. I'll read until I feel tired. You've changed, you're daring, you're different in the woods, more sure, more sharing, you're getting us through the woods. Maybe this is your shadow to you too. Maybe not. If you could see, you're not the man who started and much more open hearted than I knew you to be. And then the man is like, it takes two. I thought one was enough. It's not true. It takes two of us. You came through when the journey was rough. It took you. It took two of us. It takes care. It takes patience and fear and despair to change. Though you swear to change, who can tell if you do? It takes two. And then the not man says, you've changed, you're thriving. There's something about the woods, not just surviving, you're blossoming in the woods. At home, I'd fear in the village. In the village, I'd fear we'd stay the same forever. And then out here, you're passionate, charming, considerate, clever. It takes one to begin, but then once you've begun, it takes two of you, and so on and so forth. It's literally there, the village, that you got to leave the village, but when you're in the woods that was literally in the maiden card, literally like the woods in the village. Like I showed y'all those two cards, right? And how it's like if you turn the maiden upside down, like what we think is the woods, it's actually like this mountain, and you can see the mountain in the village, but you got to leave the village. Wow, way to bring that all together. Thank you. I have a brain that functions, okay? It's just the challenge to find words sometimes. Hashtag Mercury in Pisces in the 12th house, retrograde natally life. Anyway. Ooh, cosmic egg with the tiger. Of course, of course, of course. Spirit's like, I already know it's within you. The wolf and the tiger. Wolf is watching and waiting. Oh, I didn't see antimony today. There's still time for it to come out. Now let me get one of those fancy shuffles. Oh! I told you if I get too confident. I'm proud of myself, okay? This is the most I've done that successfully, repetitively, consecutively. Usually I get a few and then I start messing it up because I get too eager. So the last and final animal. Does any animal dare come forth? Two. We just saw that Three of Wands. Oh, this is interesting. Because it's like in the zebra, just like we had to zoom in to the gnosis to see the vowel, or if we zoom out from the vowel, we see the gnosis. It's like if you zoom into the third eye of this zebra, you get the lizard. Like the lizard is inside of the third eye of that zebra. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the bat with that full moon. The bat is not a dove. There's I feel like it's supposed to be like a comfort thing. I think this animal is supposed to be comforting us while we're in the darkness. You know what I mean? And I think it's also a question to, well, maybe not a question. It's also a statement of how we've adapted and evolved in the presence of this much light. It's again, it makes me think of a person who like grows up in a dark cellar where there's very little oxygen and almost no light. And so you can't just like put them out into the world. You have to like allow their body to acclimate, because it's almost like a sudden transition between such extremes can cause the body to go into shock. And, while people are animals, we don't have the same innate trust in the innate as animals. And so we have to like Eight of Swords our way through those changes. But the lizard is like, it's cold blooded, right? So it adapts to its environment. But, oh, because that was the thing, right? It was like there's this version of ourself that's pressing on our reality. There's this version of ourself that's pushing up against the mirror, but there are things that we're not reflecting back to it, so it gets lost. That mirror, that other side of the veil, is what this zebra sees in its third eye. And so it's like the proximity is causing these things to like bleed through the veil. So it's like it's projecting onto us from the other side. And so it's like these subtle shifts and changes. But again, like that's the thing. It's like we're inside of the cocoon as the butterfly, but believing that we're a caterpillar, and our caterpillar brain is shifting into the butterfly mind. Like this is that shift. There's some kind of bleed through that's happening. But it might be a slow process. But this is like there's some kind of comfort or some kind of knowing. It feels like some kind of comfort, some kind of knowing, also an acknowledgement that we're people and we have baggage. We've got baggage, and it's going to take time for us to do whatever, and we can allow ourselves that time, right? Like we don't have to be hard on ourselves, we don't have to be harsh, we don't have to rush ourselves, because that can be counterproductive. And so we can proceed our own paces. That's just what's available if we so choose. Ooh, the magnum opus, the great work, of course. I saw the red, the blue, and the yellow flowers. So I love this deck so much. Thank you again, Steph. I was really scared of this deck. I was like, I don't like. I love Kim Crayons, but I don't know about alchemy. I can't. And then Steph gifted it. Steph telepathically told me to add it to my wish list so she could gift it to me the next day. And I love it. Steph knew that I would like it before I knew that I could like it. Before I knew that I could like it, yeah, sure, and before I knew that I would love it. So thank you, Steph, for demonstrating what lies on the other side of the veil that's trying to push us or pull us in that direction. Oh, I love it when we collaborate like this. Anyway. The last alchemy card. Watch me find like 5 animals on the floor after this. I'm just fine. I think I got all of them. Oof. The new pearl is at the bottom of the deck. Oh, we already saw you. Skin to lie. Oh, Uranus is at the bottom of the deck. It's interesting that Uranus is at the bottom of the deck because it's sextiling Neptune. Remember? Uranus is also conjuncting the North Node. So there's actually a lot of clarity to be gained from Neptune right now. But if we continue to see Neptune in the ways that we've always seen it, we might forfeit that opportunity. Shards of light and coagulation. Oh, wow. Wow, this is 46 and 66. Sparks of light and coagulation. Oh my gosh, oh wow, of this. Sparks of light are coagulating. These tiny specks and individual pieces are coming together. So it's like this is being assembled. All of these little sparks of light are flowing into the Gununga Gap void. And the void is actually holding that light rather than it being like sucking it in like a black hole. Maybe that just speaks to the quantity of light that's like flowing into this space. Sparks of light are coagulating. That's crazy. That's cool. Love that. Love that energy. Maybe that's why the sun splendor keeps coming out. Bottom of the deck again is Uranus. And look at the colored glass at the bottom. This also makes me think of Mars. But Mars had like the clenched, I think Mars had the clenched fist and the lightning was like coming out of the fist. But there's something that Uranus is letting go. Maybe the pressure that Mars was applying was creating that pearl or that gold, and Uranus is releasing it. But what Uranus is releasing, it's like it has the ability to completely shake up everything from the foundation. Honestly, it's like below the foundation. Well, it is the foundation because Pluto is in Capricorn, but it's also like below the foundation. It's like the bedrock that the foundation is built upon, question mark, and the foundation. Pluto and Capricorn trining Uranus and Neptune, both in sextile. Uranus and Neptune. Pluto and Capricorn trining Uranus and Taurus, both sextiling Neptune in Pisces. As it opposes Mercury. So maybe the Mercury opposition, it brings in, it's like, it's difficult to communicate or to share or to externalize because it's happening so deeply within. It's almost like the opposition to Mercury just makes it a little bit more of like an individual journey and experience, even though collectively, like we're all going through it. Something that we're all going through, but experiencing as individuals. Because that makes it, like unique. You know what I mean? Because Uranus is all about uniqueness, right? I'm assuming because it rules Aquarius. So, anyway, I like this. This was cool. Like the skin to lie and the coagula or whatever it was called, coagulatio, the coagulatio. I was like Caligula, coagulatio and skin to lie. Sparks of light coagulating. Way. Anyway, it was lovely, Sandra and K2. Thank you for being here. I will see you all the next time I see ya. Might not be tomorrow because I'll be working a late day. Well, I mean, if it's tomorrow, it's tomorrow. If it's not, it's not. I don't know. But I hope you all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope you the bravery, the courage, the wisdom, the trust, the faith, the hope to counteract and counterbalance the fear and despair and trauma, to experience all that is knocking at the maiden's door. It's very like immaculate conception almost, because it's almost like, whoa, when did that happen? You know what I mean? Not to be like sacrilegious or anything. But again, maybe that's just like because it's bleeding through from the other side of the veil. And we can actually like birth it. I don't know. Take it as it resonates. Use your discernment and intuition always. If it don't fit or don't seem right, don't take it. And I'll catch y'all next time. Bye. Have a good night, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever, whenever.